The first stage of our tutorial is installing Proxmox, adjusting to a no subscription environment, and updating the Proxmox tool. I will be installing Proxmox on top of VMware. Normally you would not do this, you would install Proxmox on bare metal. The reason I am doing this is that I want to make this environment, each stage of it, available for you to download and try out yourself. And the best way I could think of is using VMware. VMware, as of a few months ago, has been made available free for personal use, and all the links I mention here, as well as others, I will share in the show notes. The first thing we therefore need to do is go into Proxmox, download the ISO, and once we've downloaded the ISO, we go into VMware Workstation, where we're going to create the virtual machine on top of which we're going to run Proxmox. Create a new virtual machine, custom, leaving the default. I have an ISO and I'm going to refer to that ISO. Proxmox is based on Debian and I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to call my environment Proxmox-NUT. I have set 2 processors and 2 cores. In terms of RAM, I'm setting that to 16 gig, and hard disk, I'm setting that to 80. Next, now I'm going to customize my hardware. Very importantly is that I want to virtualize the Intel engine. If you don't do that, you'll have a problem when installing. And whilst on the topic of problems when installing Proxmox on Workstation, if you encounter a problem related to the virtual machine crashing, the problem could be that you have to turn off memory integrity in Windows, both 10 and 11, and the option to search for is core isolation. I say close, finish, and we're going to power up the machine. Install Proxmox VE graphical. As this is progressing, I will speed up the footage not to keep you waiting through the mundane parts as they are taking place. End user license agreement. I'm going to agree to that. I'm going to choose the 80 gig virtual disk. No changes here. I am from Malta. My keyboard is US English. And the password, which you will see on your screen, is the email I am going to use is this one. You may want to guess when it was created. I'm going to call my host name PVE1. These are provided by VMware, which has created its own network. Everything else we go to install. As you can see, VMware Tools has prompted to install the additional tools. In a bare metal environment, this would not take place. I will walk through the process for anyone who wants to replicate what I am doing. We have completed the installation. We know the IP address of our Proxmox environment, and we're going to boot into Proxmox for the first time. Proxmox IP address is the one shown here. You would normally tie that down. The first time you log in, you'll be prompted that the certificate is not valid. We know that, so I'm going to go into accept risk and continue. And here I've logged in. I'm going to type the password and I have logged in to my Proxmox environment. This is the name I gave. I am now going to install the OpenVM tools. This on a bare metal you would not need to do. To do that, I am following instructions from the Proxmox forum where I found them, and I'm looking for VFAT. So it's SDA2. I'm going to mount as boot, update. Let's see what packages need to be updated. And as you can see, I have an error because since I don't have a subscription, I'm not able to fetch updates from the enterprise version. We'll get to that. We're going to install those, yes. And we're going to unmount boot. Let's clear. As you could see, we got errors when we tried to update the repository from the enterprise. We're on a free tier. We don't have that, so we need to adjust. And to do that, we go into the PVE, we go into repositories. We need to disable wherever we have enterprise. So we disable this one and we disable that one. And we need to add the no subscription model. And again, if it's a Homelab, it may be non-critical, so it's not a problem. But if you are critical or you're using Proxmox for critical operations, we should not be operating without enterprise support. You have a notice here that tells you that the no subscription is for testing and non-production use. Fully understand that. We've moved to that model and we're going to repeat the update. And here we have packages that need updating. You will notice that you do not upgrade, you do not need a sudo. Why? Because you're logged in as root. I got an error the first time. I'm redoing the command, and second time we seem to have gone through. And this concludes the first step of our tutorial. I'm going to shut down Proxmox, and if I push to the screen the virtual machine, you will see that it has shut down. And I'm going to take my snapshot. I'm going to call this step 1. Thank you. If you like, please subscribe, please share, and see you in the next part.